You say in 12.5, of what relevance is the fact that General Khan was not part of that panel? Of what relevance is that to the question of criminality? Because this is in the charge sheet. What is the relevance of the fact that General Khan was not part of that panel?
You're talking about criminality, about General Khan or whatever. That wasn't on the panel, so that's criminal. No, that's not the inference. That he wasn't on the panel, so now it's criminal.
Oh, okay.
No,
Hence I'm asking, yes, the relevance. Thank you, sorry.
We have 9 provincial heads in the country, crime intelligence. We have maybe 3 generals at crime intelligence. Any one of those 9 plus the 3 at head office could have been chosen to sit on the panel, not specifically Khan.
No, but you specified him here.
Any one of them. The fact that Khan's name is mentioned here, but it's also mentioned here that provincial head CI, which included Khan, were available.
The question is, why did you not pick any other name of the provincial heads? Khan was not or is not the only general in crime intelligence who is a provincial head, if he is a provincial head, but it's not just him. So why did you not mention any other name? And I'll say to you before you answer that the impression you have created with specifying him is that this may well have been about his exclusion. You were punting for him. Taking issue in 12.5 is in fact about the exclusion of General Khan in particular from the panel, from the interviewing panel. That's the impression this paragraph creates, because you cover it by mentioning that there were other 6 major generals that could have been chosen within crime intelligence, but curiously, it's General Khan that you mentioned. And what we know about him is he was in the previous panel, of the previous panel that did not succeed in filling this post. We know he was there. Yes. Now he's not in, and you take issue and you give him as an example. And it gives the impression that, in fact, the complaint in 12.5 is about him and not any other crime intelligence officer that could have been part of the panel. What do you say to that?
Thank you, Chair, Commissioners. Let me first start by General Khan. As of today, and everything that is surrounded General Khan and his activities, his names will stand out now, no matter where it gets mentioned. It poses a question mark there. When I put this in, the other provincial heads, including General Khan, who sits at head office right next door to the panel, that's what I wanted to say. He is there. And so it was including him there is not to say, but him particularly in that instance. And at that moment in time, mentioning this name meant nothing, but mentioning it now, and any way in our investigations, raises that, stands out. So I take it from there, Commissioner Beloy.
No, Colonel, I don't ask, it's your answer, but I have to leave you with this. I don't accept that mentioning him here meant nothing. I don't. It's curious that it's him specifically that you mention. So I hear your answer. You've given your answer. It's your best answer, but I don't accept that it was as innocent as you want us to believe.
Noted, Commissioner, and noted that inferences can be drawn for that. I acknowledge that.
Maybe related to this, sorry, Mr. Let me just finish off here.
Yes, Commissioner.
You're not suggesting, where you say accused number 5 was not based in the CIA environment at the time, you're not suggesting that the prescripts that apply to constitution of panels precluded the inclusion of someone who doesn't belong to the CIA environment. You're not suggesting that there's such a prescript. Yeah, you may answer.
Thank you, Chair, Commissioner Beloy. There's no prescript on that. Anybody can sit in the panel. The reason why it's drawn out, I mentioned it and drawn it out, the particular post is a covert post, meaning that it's a sensitive post in a place that not really much people know about it, and their activities are also covert. So that's why it's brought in. But there's no prescript to say, you can't be on the panel, you can't be on the panel. There's no. You choose your
You've
panel,
answered me.
and that's it. It's approved by head office, and you carry on.
You've answered me, thank you.
Thank you.
And General, just to be clear, sorry, Mr. Law, it's not for IDAC to determine the job requirements for the post. The job requirements for the post are as advertised and as approved by SAPS. When we get to the job requirements, you will see that the things you are saying are not there. The requirement is quite clear. This is about mechanical and electronical, and you need a B degree of 3 years, including law. My point to you yesterday that even I could apply, because the requirements of the job say you need a 3-year degree, which could be law or a B.Tech or whatever. So IDAC cannot make up the requirements of the job and say, the post is secretive, it is this, it is that. The requirements are as advertised, because members of the public, when they apply for the position, what they look at is not what IDAC says. What they look at is what the job requirements are and what the advert says, and they apply on the basis of those things alone. IDAC cannot add requirements after the event and say it is covered, it is this, it is this, it is that. That's not how it works. When you advertise a position to the public, you are bound by that advert and the job requirements. And you cannot use unknown things when you determine who should be appointed and who should not be appointed. That's not how it works.
Noted, Commissioner.
I couldn't be disqualified as a person with a law degree because this is covered, because that's not what's in the requirement. When I apply based on what the requirements say.
Noted, Commissioner. Anybody can apply for the post. It says it's external. Anybody can apply for the post. That is noted, Commissioner.
And in fact, on that point, then, it undermines the point you make at 12.6, precisely what you've just said. You say TSS is a very secretive operations unit. TSS working on operations methodology, practices, and capability are unknown to the majority of members of SAPS. It would have been reasonable to expect accused one to have chosen major generals from CI to reduce compromising TSS and its operations. In so doing, TSS would maintain its secrecy and strategic operations advantage. That would then go to the very advert. It cannot be advertised outside the crime intelligence environment because it would undermine functionality if you introduce people from outside who know nothing about crime intelligence and they are exposed to the covert operations of this unit. So, to take issue or to reason as you do at 12.6 for an external advertisement which you accept is legitimate and that SAPS and this unit can draw from members of the general public. I can't why? Why is that an issue as to how secretive the operations are if you are trying to recruit from members of the public?
Can I just add to the court? We'll find that. But I'm just asking IDAC as an institution, why is it your concern that SAPS has allowed accused 5 to be part of a panel and it is advertising externally in this what you describe as a secret environment? It seems to me that you are overreaching as IDAC. It's not your issue. SAPS is a separate institution from you. Where is the, maybe, why is that a problem to IDAC? Where do you come in? Your mandate, remember you have a mandate, you're a creature of statute. You don't go about looking at facts and saying, oh, I think they did wrong there, let's charge them, or let's create a complaint. You don't do that, you're a creature of statute. When you raise a complaint, as you're doing, because you didn't write this stuff for the sake of it. You were influencing the decision maker who's going to give you the warrants that you're applying for, right? And you're influencing whoever's going, because they're going to look at this, they're going to listen to your evidence. why is it IDAC's problem that SAPS has decided to include someone in the panel who's outside of the environment of crime intelligence? Not only that, two, that it is going to be interviewing and possibly appointing someone from outside if it is not precluded by the law or by prescripts. This is not, it doesn't require you to give an answer that speaks to the case about testimony that you're going to give. It has nothing to do with it. You formulated your charges. I'm trying to understand IDAC's understanding of its mandate, and you as an investigator in this docket, your understanding of the mandate. What about what you say in these paragraphs has anything to do with your mandate prescribed by law? Not what you feel like in the office, that, oh, that feels wrong. You can comment if you want. I hope you have an answer for my question, because I think it's an important question. It's about your understanding of the mandate of IDAC. That's what these questions are about. Why is it your business? You can say to us, in terms of section 7(1)(a), look at that section. Issues like this fall in there, or whatever other provision of law that you say covers something like this.
Chair. Commissioner, thank you. I know that sometimes I give a long story, but let me just give a quick comment. We say that SAPS chose a panel, approved a panel, advertise it externally. When we look at SAPS today and the number of senior managers, allow me to comment on this. When you look at the state of the national head office and the serious corruption with national commissioners and deputy national commissioners and senior officers being arrested for corruption, then we have to ask ourselves the question is, what is it IDAC's business to go into space like that?
Has the National Commissioner been arrested for corruption? Has the National Commissioner been arrested for corruption?
The National Commission...
I think you included him when you stated who has been arrested for what.
When I... Sorry, sir.
Has he been arrested for corruption?
The National Commissioner has been arrested for contraventions of the PMFA.
Is that
That is
corrupt?
linked.
Is that of necessity corruption?
That does not amount to corruption at this state, sir.
But you lumped his name with corruption charges.
Can I correct myself, sir?
Please.
What I meant, and let's go with the arrest. The arrest of senior and national commissioner, deputy national commissioners, and the current situation at SAPS as it stands. And the same with crime intelligence, currently and previously. Then when you ask, is it what business of its IDAC in terms of their mandate? So the only way I can put it this way, if it's not IDAC's business and I'm investigating and it comes to my attention and I have the evidence, I will go into that space if it flows through from my investigations. Yes, there is a Section 7, there is a Section 28 that regulates us in terms of where we can go and whatever. But during the course of my investigations, if these things come, during the course where I picked it up, I will continue to investigate it. As a law enforcement officer, I cannot ignore it. But what I'm pointing out, and I'll cut it off now, is that SAPS at the current moment, when you look at approving of a panel, approving of many other documents that I've seen and had insight into, when you look at that, I don't trust the documents that they signed. In this particular case that we have that we have now, there is a document during this process that was forged.
So,
signed and
Yes,
approved by head
yes.
office, but the document was sent to forensics and it came back that it was forged.
so Colonel, IDAC has arrogated to itself the power to be an overseer over subs. Is that what you are saying?
No, sir.
You are, that's what we are saying. You say there's everything wrong with the management, top management of SAPS. If I come across something, I will investigate it. I'm using something deliberately because my other question, before you said the last things you said, my other question was, if you come across what exactly? If you come across what you believe to be criminality, or which is what you say, I will investigate it. If you come across what?
During the
What appears to be criminality, please let's not lengthen it. If you come across what you consider to be criminality,
Yes.
you will investigate it.
Yes.
That's exactly what Commissioner Baloyi has been engaging you on. Where's the criminality? And in fact, Commissioner Khumalo was there as well. Where is the criminality with regards to this panel? Where's the criminality? Especially regard being head to the fact that SAPS is happy with that list. So you are saying you cannot rely on SAPS because there's a lot wrong with SAPS top management. Therefore, you cannot rely on what they are happy with. Is that what you are telling us?
Commissioner, Chair, Commissioner.
And bear in mind, you are not able to say that panel was drawn or selected in accordance with prescript. You are not able to say that. So on what basis are you telling us what you are telling us?
What I said initially, Chair, Commissioners, is that during the course of whatever investigation that I am busy working with, and they come and I come across corruption that is linked to what I'm busy with, I will investigate that.
Let's stop there. Let's stop there. So in this instance, you came across corruption which you found to relate to the selection of the panel. Is that the corruption you came across?
The panel that in question.
Is it the selection of that panel which constitutes what you considered to be corruption? Which corruption you came across and therefore decided to investigate? Is that the corruption, the selection of this panel?
The choosing of the panel members, that's where I saw the corruption during the investigation.
I'm not sure.